Hey there, fellow bug-curious friends. Before we dive into the fluttery world of the grain moth, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and like this video so you never miss another weirdly fascinating creature from your pantry or backyard. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at your breakfast cereal the same way again. Alright, let's talk about one of the most common and surprisingly misunderstood insects sneaking around our kitchens, the grain moth. Meet the grain moth, the serial killer of the pantry. The grain moth, also known as the pantry moth or Indian meal moth, is a tiny flying insect that's got a serious passion for your food. Yep, your flour, your oats, your pasta, basically if it's dry and edible, the grain moth is planning a dinner date with it. But don't worry, they're not out to hurt you. They're just little freeloaders who somehow get invited into your home, unpack their bags in your rice container, and start a family faster than you can say, "Where did all these moths come from?" These moths are small, only about half an inch long, with brownish gray wings and a slightly shiny, coppery tint. They're not exactly Instagram model material, but hey, what they lack in beauty, they make up for in persistence. How do they get into your home? Here's the twist. You probably brought them in yourself. That's right, grain moths often sneak into your pantry by hitching a ride on your groceries. You might buy a bag of flour or bird seed, and hidden inside could be tiny moth eggs just waiting to hatch. Weeks later, you open your cupboard, and it's a winged rave party in there. They lay eggs directly on dry food products. Things like rice, flour, oats, pasta, dried fruits, even pet food. Before you know it, your pantry turns into a tiny, fluttering ecosystem of moths and larvae. And yes, the larvae are those little squirmy white worms you sometimes see crawling in your oatmeal. Sorry, I know, not exactly breakfast talk. Life cycle of the grain moth, from egg to fluttering freeloader. The grain moth's life cycle is basically a speed run of how fast can we annoy humans. Egg stage, the female lays up to 400 eggs in food. Overachiever much. Larva stage, these little guys hatch and immediately start eating. They're the ones causing the real mess, webbing, crumbs, and chewing holes in packaging. Pupa stage, they wrap themselves in silk cocoons, usually hiding in cracks or near the lids of jars. Adult moth stage, finally, they emerge, ready to find love, lay eggs, and start the cycle all over again. Each generation takes only about a month to develop, so yeah, if you don't handle them quickly, they'll be flying circles around your pantry like it's a buffet. Why they're not as gross as you think? Okay, yes, they're annoying, and yes, nobody wants to share breakfast with moth larvae. But here's the thing, grain moths aren't dangerous. They don't bite, they don't sting, and they don't carry diseases. They're just little freeloaders who wandered into the wrong Airbnb, yours. And honestly, in a weird way, they're kind of admirable. Imagine being so small and still managing to outsmart humans and sealed bags of flour. Respect, little guys, respect. How to get rid of grain moths without losing your sanity? If you spotted a few grain moths fluttering around, don't panic. Here's your emergency plan. Find the source. Check all your dry fruit. Look for webbing, crumbs, or tiny caterpillars. Throw out contaminated food. Sorry, but it's better to say goodbye than to have moth casserole for dinner. Clean everything. Wipe down shelves with vinegar or soapy water. Use airtight containers. No more cardboard boxes or half-open bags. Grain moths are masters at sneaking in. Add natural repellents. Bay leaves, cloves, or cedar chips can help them keep away. Be patient. Even after cleaning, a few stragglers might hang around for a couple of weeks. Stay strong, you're winning the war. Fun fact, they're world travelers. Grain moths are literally everywhere, from North America to Asia, Europe, Africa, and even tiny islands in the middle of nowhere. Why? Because humans love storing food, and they love eating it. It's a match made in heaven, for them at least. For us, not so much. A weird but important reminder. Next time you see a grain moth fluttering near your kitchen light, don't just scream and grab a fly swatter. Take a moment to remember. This little creature has survived countless grocery trips, cleaning sessions, and human frustration, all for a few crumbs of cereal. In its own strange way, the grain moth is a symbol of determination. It doesn't give up, no matter how many times you clean your pantry or toss out the flour. So what is a grain moth? It's a tiny, stubborn, uninvited guest that just wants to share your snacks. They may be pests, but they're also fascinating little survivors that remind us to keep our food sealed and our humor intact. If this video made you smile, squirm, or immediately check your kitchen cabinets, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more weird and wonderful nature stories, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next creature feature. And remember, even when life gets messy, or mothy, there's always something amazing to learn in nature.